Famous in legend, in opera and the arts of the world, the butterfly is one of the most enduring and endearing of all insects. I can't think of anyone who isn't happy to see a butterfly. Some folk grow special flowers in their gardens just to attract them. Of the 58 different species that you're about to see, we shall begin with those of the woodland. The word butterfly was probably first used to describe this butter-colored insect, one of our longest-lived species of butterfly. The brimstone can be seen in almost every month of the year, usually found on woodland margins, hedgerows and thickets, spending all of their time feeding on thistle, teasel, and any purple-rich flowers. The speckled wood butterfly is a true sign of spring and can be seen from late March until October. It's widespread in England, Wales and Ireland, and the only British species able to overwinter either as larvae or as pupae. The holly blue butterfly is usually seen from late March to mid-October, fluttering around bushes and trees looking for places to rest or lay their eggs. Only the spring brood feed on holly flowers. Second-generation eggs are laid on the ivy flowers, making this species unique in having two different food plants. The green hairstreak is the commonest and smallest of the hairstreaks found in Britain. It is the only hairstreak lacking tails on the hind wings. Colonies of this butterfly occur in a variety of habitats, such as sunny woods, downland and heath. Most sites feature the presence of shrubs and a warm and sheltered spot. It flies from May to June. On the wing from May to June, the pearl-bordered fritillary is the first woodland fritillary to appear. They're extremely active, spending much of their time flying to and fro on their territories, visiting wildflowers such as bugle. Managed woodlands with clearings and coppicing is ideal for this butterfly. The wood white is found in woodland glades and rides, where it often stops to drink the nectar of flowers, and is to be seen from mid-May, reaching a peak around mid-June. The small pearl-bordered fritillary emerges a few weeks later than the pearl-bordered fritillary, but there are several weeks when their flight period overlaps. The small pearl-bordered flies swiftly close to the ground, seeking out nectar-rich flowers. The checkered skipper, Britain's rarest skipper, survives only in western Scotland. In 1976, the checkered skipper became the first species for over 50 years to be declared extinct in England. The butterfly is to be found in clearings, in mixed woodland, sometimes on slopes and near streams or lochs. Bluebells, bugle, and other blue flowers are the favorite nectar source. The butterfly will bask on grasses and bracken with outspread wings. At the onset of rain, it descends deep into the grass tussocks. The heath fritillary is a very rare butterfly, perhaps one of our most endangered species, now only to be found in areas of Kent and the West Country, and is on the wing from late June and July. Thistles and bugle are favorite nectar sources of this butterfly. The black hairstreak is a rare species which inhabits sheltered borders of woods and rides and clearings within woods where blackthorn is present. Not easily seen, the black hairstreak has only a 3-week flying period, from late June into July, depending on the seasonal conditions at that time. In warm weather, they can often be seen on the woodland floor, nectaring from bramble and privet, their favorite food plants where they can be extremely tame. This large butterfly is to be found in deciduous woodland and forest haunts, with some of the finest colonies to be found in the hills overlooking Morecambe Bay in the Lake District. The high brown fritillary is most active in sunshine, gliding amongst the flower heads of bramble blossom and thistles. It can be seen from June through to August. The silver-washed fritillary is the largest of our fritillaries. This magnificent butterfly is on the wing from July to August, clearings, rides and tracks being its favorite haunts. During its brief 5-week lifespan, its preferred nectar sources are bramble patches and thistles. Another form of the silver-washed fritillary is that of the Valsina. The females of this subspecies have a distinctive dusky greenish sheen on their upper wings and are a light pink on their undersides. This species is confined to the woodlands of southern and eastern England. The elusive white admiral prefers to remain out of sight, high in the trees. The butterflies gather in sunny, secluded pockets of woodland throughout July, feeding on aphid honeydew. The white admiral may live up to 4 weeks, frequently visiting clumps of brambles to drink nectar. By the end of July, their wings become tattered and torn by thorns, and may well end its life unable to take evasive action from predators. The ringlet is found from late June to August in wet, grassy places. Ringlets, unlike most other butterflies, will fly in dull, showery weather. Much of its time is spent in the grass, usually resting with its wings closed, also visiting bramble flowers to drink the nectar. The white letter hairstreak, like most hairstreaks, is a very secretive species, remaining mostly in the upper branches of wych elm, only coming lower to feed from bramble and creeping thistle. White letter hairstreaks are to be seen during July and August, and each butterfly lives for about 3 weeks. Dutch elm disease in the 1970s has caused a serious decline of this beautiful specimen. The purple emperor, Britain's most majestic butterfly, can be very elusive, soaring and gliding across treetops during July and August. Males are mostly seen flying across the canopy of ash, oak and beech woods, defending their master tree. Females are seldom seen. Flowers do not seem to attract them, but they come readily to substances such as cowpats and rotten fruit. They feed from honeydew left by aphids and drink minerals from roads and tracks. The iridescent purple sheen is only visible according to the angle at which the wings are viewed. Attracted to vehicles, they will often attempt to get into a parked car. Apart from the north of Scotland and Northern Ireland, the purple hair streak is widespread in Britain, but rarely seen because it prefers the upper branches of oak trees, where it feeds on honeydew. Sunny days during July and August, they can be seen high up, fluttering through the branches, but occasionally they can be seen feeding from the flowers of sweet chestnut. The brown hair streak is one of our most secretive species, its usual haunts being in the vicinity of woods, bushy areas, or hedgerows containing blackthorn bushes, and close to tall oak trees. Bramble blossom is a favorite food source, but adults also feed on sticky honeydew. Butterflies are seldom seen as they spend most of their lives at the top of oak trees. Males rarely descend to the woodland floor, and most sightings are of the beautiful golden-colored females descending to lay their eggs on blackthorn bushes. The small tortoiseshell is probably the best-known urban butterfly. They live through the winter as butterflies, hibernating from as early as August. Found throughout the British Isles, they like to feed on the nectar of creeping thistle, ice plants, and buddleia. Widespread throughout Britain, although rarer in Scotland, the peacock is a regular visitor to the garden, where they feed on buddleia and Michaelmas daisies. They're most frequently found close to woodland, on the wing from March to October. The comma is a true woodland butterfly, occasionally found in gardens. Its uniquely shaped wings enable the insect to camouflage itself, resembling a dead leaf. Common throughout the south of England and lowland Wales, adults hibernate until the warmer days of spring. Thistles, ragwort, and scabious being the favorite nectar sources. green-veined white is one of the first on the wing each year. One of the few species of butterflies seen flying in dull weather, fluttering in meadows, wet fields, hedgerows, and feeding on garlic, mustard, charlock, and other wild plants of the cabbage family. The small white is one of the most common of British butterflies. It can be seen in most gardens from March through to September, all over the British Isles. This is the large white butterfly. Its common name, the cabbage white, derives from the caterpillar's appetite for cabbage plants. There are 2 generations each year, from April to June and from July to September. The second generation has darker markings. This is one of the commonest of our native species and is a colourful sign of spring. The orange tip is found between early May and June, fluttering weakly along hedgerows and meadows. They are active only whilst the sun shines, when they regularly stop to bask with wings wide open. The gatekeeper does not favour open grass downland, but prefers hedges and scrub vegetation, which provide shelter. Bramble patches are attractive to the gatekeeper, where they are easily observed on the wing during July and August. Arriving from the Mediterranean in May, the Red Admiral is a well-known emigrant. Spring visitors produce a second summer brood, and these are the butterflies which feed on buddleia and rotten fruit in the autumn. The downland butterfly season begins in late April with the emergence of the grizzled skipper. This is the smallest member of the skipper family. Grizzled skippers are highly territorial and aggressive, flying from their resting perch to pursue other butterflies when need be. Now becoming a scarce species, but locally common in southern down and coasts, the dingy skipper is a springtime butterfly, found in late April through to June. Adults can be seen basking against bare ground with their wings held wide open. The common blue can be found throughout the British Isles in midsummer. Very active in bright sunshine, this species likes to feed from trefoils, vetches and buttercups. 2 generations are produced each year. The small blue is found mostly in southern and central England, in chalk and limestone country, where its food plant, kidney vetch, grows. They emerge during mid-May, lingering on into July, and spending much of the day perching on vegetation with their wings half open. Confined to chalk and limestone downs, cliffs and dunes in southern England, both sexes of the brown argus are similar, with dark brown upper wing surfaces, white marginal fringes, and orange crescents around the edges of all the wings. There are 2 generations each year, and are on the wing in May and June, and again in July and August. The powerful flight of this migratory butterfly allows it to reach Britain from the Mediterranean strongholds, usually reaching the south coast in May or June. Spring migrants to Britain, the clouded yellow lays eggs that give rise to a single brood of autumn butterflies, but none can survive the damp weather beyond November. They flit swiftly from flower to flower, spending most of their time feeding on thistle, clover, and marjoram. The female's colouring is variable. Some have few or no spots in the black margin, and there is a beautiful pale coloured form of the female clouded yellow called Elise. The chalk hill blue is now confined to southern English chalk and limestone downs. The males spend much time basking in the sun with wings open. Confined to south-facing downs in southern England, the most stunning of our downland butterflies, the Adonis blue, can be seen in late May and June, and again from August to September. A sun-loving species, they fly swiftly in warm weather, nectaring from horseshoe vetch, stemless thistle, and marjoram. Male Adonis blues are partial to the juices found in dung, which provide them with essential nutrients, and the male is the brightest blue of all the British butterflies. Another of our declining species, the silver-spotted skipper, is confined to a few warm downs in the centre and east of England's chalk regions. one of the latest butterflies to appear, having a lifespan of 2 weeks, and is to be seen during August, feeding on stemless thistle. One of the most vivid and common species found throughout Britain, the small copper belongs to the same family as the blues, with a resemblance in shape and size. It frequents gardens, roads and motorways, as well as heaths, downland and meadows, and is mostly found near flowers. This is a somewhat variable species, given to aberrations. By far the commonest and most attractive variety has a series of blue spots along the bottom edge of each hindwing. Common in Scotland and the south of England, the small copper can have up to 3 broods a year. Truly migratory, usually common throughout the British Isles, the painted lady arrives on our shores from late May into June. A frequent visitor to gardens feeding on buddleia and many other flowers. As its name suggests, the wall butterfly likes to bask with open wings on walls in the sunshine. Once warmed by the sun, males actively patrol for females. There are 2 broods of butterflies each year, the first on the wing in May and June, and the second in July and August. From the beginning of May, the slow, fluttering flight of the small heath is a common sight just above the grass heads of downland and heath. Small heaths always close their wings when they're resting. Not a true fritillary, the attractive Duke of Burgundy inhabits woodland clearings and sheltered grassy hillsides. Primroses and cowslips are the only 2 food plants of this species. The small fritillary can be seen in sunny woodland glades, perching on a low leaf and then flying to another leaf nearby. The Channel Islands and the Isle of Wight are the 2 places to be certain to see the beautiful Glanville fritillary. They usually emerge about mid-May and are on the wing until the end of June. The Glanville fritillary inhabits the eroded, windswept undercliffs, which are colonized by ribwort plantain. The large skipper is the largest of the British skippers and is most likely to be seen from early June to mid-July in grassy areas such as meadows, hillsides, and clearings in woods. It can usually be observed on birdsfoot trefoil, tufted vetch, and bramble and thistle. The large blue became extinct in 1979, but has now been reintroduced. Largest of the British blues, and the only one with black spots on the upper side of the forewing, large blues died out in areas where grazing land was ploughed up, destroying the thyme, the butterfly's main food source. During the past few years, the butterfly has been reintroduced into managed habitats and is on the wing during July. The dark green fritillary is one of Britain's 3 large fritillaries and is to be found in open meadows, downland and woodland margins. The flight of the dark green fritillary is very powerful and fast. It often visits thistles and field scabious for nectar and can be seen during July and August. Britain's commonest butterfly is the meadow brown, which can be found on grassland and woodland rides throughout lowland Britain. Flower heads of marjoram, field scabious and bramble will give good views of this butterfly, which can't resist a rich supply of nectar. The marble white is the only British butterfly with this distinctive black and white pattern. The undersides of the wings are not so brightly marked. You can see this one during July and August. Small skippers are alert little butterflies and favour long grass with plenty of wild flowers, preferring scabious, dandelions, thistle and knapweeds. July is the main month to see it, but in a warm year it can be seen from mid-June. The Essex skipper is found over a wide area of southeast England. These fast-flying butterflies occur in the same areas as the small skipper, including coastal embankments and motorway verges. Its main difference from the small skipper is the black tip on the underside of each antenna. It's on the wing during July and August. The Lulworth skipper is named after Lulworth Cove in Dorset, where it was discovered in 1832. The colonies are discreet, and the butterfly is largely sedentary, rarely moving far from the warm grassland slope or undercliff. One generation a year from July to August, and it can be found feeding on ragwort, marjoram and thistle. This weak-flying species is on the wing from late April to July. It's not confined to marshland, although it's certainly more common in wetter areas. The marsh fritillary is now on the decline, and is not as common as it used to be, having now just about disappeared from eastern England and the Midlands. The swallowtail, Britain's largest, most striking butterfly, could at one time be seen on the fens of Cambridgeshire and Suffolk. It's now declining, confined to the reed and sedge beds of certain areas such as Strumpshaw Fen. Each butterfly lives for about a month, and visitors to the Broads can see them from late May to mid-July. Unsurprisingly very similar to the brown argus, the northern brown argus has only one brood each year. Scottish specimens nearly always have a white spot in the centre of each wing. In northern England, the butterflies seldom have a white spot, but have distinctly spotted undersides. On the wing from late June to early August, it can be seen on the hills in the Lake District overlooking Morecambe Bay. The large heath butterfly emerges in mid-June and reaches a peak in mid-July. It's very much a wetland species and is to be found around bogs, damp moorland and peat mosses. This is a species that never basks with its wings held flat. The males sit with wings closed, leaning sideways to the sun to warm up, like the grayling. They fly very close to the ground in windy weather and rest low down in the grass on dull, wet days. One of Britain's true alpine butterflies, the mountain ringlet lives in isolated colonies at high altitudes and is not found below 700 feet. It lives in boggy areas where its main food plant, matgrass, is to be found. Very hard to find, that is until the sun shines, and then many are to be seen emerging from the tussocks of matgrass. The butterflies are abundant in central Scotland and are also to be found in Cumberland and Westmorland. Once found throughout much of Britain, the silver-studded blue is now largely restricted to heathlands in Dorset, Hampshire and Surrey. Views of this attractive butterfly with its unique row of silver spots are best obtained when it's perching to mate on heather or when feeding from thyme or marjoram. There is one single brood from July to August. Mostly a coastal butterfly, the grayling is an expert in concealment. They perch on warm, dry patches of bare ground and close their wings, tilting the leading edge towards the sun. They can be seen from July to September. The Scotch argus can be found in the Lake District, but is much more abundant in sheltered grasslands in Scotland. and is on the wing during July and August. The butterfly delights in sunshine, mostly in places which have warming rays early in the morning. Edges of woodland, grassy hillsides, sheltered valleys are areas where they're to be found. Immediately the sun goes behind a cloud, they all disappear into clumps of grass. Also available from RMG Wildlife Videos is The Magic of Purbeck, a personal portrayal of the Purbeck year through the seasons.